Good morning, everybody. My name is Philip Ailes. I'm coming to you from Jacksonville, Florida. I am the founder and CEO of Ailes Solutions. Uh, we are I'm a coach, and I coach veterans, first responders, and law enforcement to break through trauma for a happier life. And I use self awareness with emotional intelligence and mindfulness to bring you to the moment and realize that's all we have. And let's build a better future together and live your happiest life. Well, today I have Wendy Norflett. She is a doctor. What's your PhD in?
Instructional design, training and development in layman's terms.
Oh, well, see, that's why you end up doing all these great and wonderful things all over the country. I could see that. And but how I met her is here on LinkedIn, and she's from Jacksonville, Florida as well. She's been a great inspiration for me, and she's a great teacher, uh, coach, mentor. She's just just phenomenal person that brought me in, made me feel welcome, talked to me like I should have been talking with a lot of other people, but what I find out, it tends to if they don't know you, they don't know you. And so, so you have to do things to get their attention and let them know what you bring to the table. And a lot of the things that she does also is set up boards for companies that are just growing, or they just need more organization. Like you said, that was her doctorate. And so without further ado, Dr. Wendy Norflett, please
Thanks,
tell us a
Phil.
little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, as Phil said, I currently live in Jacksonville, originally from Detroit. Um, I have a really twisty turn where I am now. I think all of our experiences make us better, the good and the bad. And so I am from a family of, I have 9 brothers and sisters, 3 half
Wow.
sisters. So there's 13 of us growing up. So believe me, I was so ready to go to college just to have one roommate. I was so excited. I never had just one roommate before. And so my first 2 degrees are in computer science. And so if you drive a car, I worked on the team that developed the anti-lock brake software.
Oh, really?
I also have worked on a couple other teams that we have different components patented. So I did that for many years, almost 20, got burned out, and I had been teaching for General Motors University for a while. Um, in order to be one of their professors, you had to have not only a degree, but had to be a software automotive engineer certified, which I was at the time. And so I taught there. And when they decided to close and merge with a mainstream university, University of Detroit Mercy, they asked me would I teach there. And University of Detroit ended up asking me to teach for them. But let me just tell you, by then I was director of IT for a global company, professor, director of IT. That's the big difference in pay and expense accounts and a lot of other stuff. And so, but after a couple of years, I guess I was close to burnout. I didn't realize it. And I was just ready. I can remember exactly when I called the president. I tell people this all the time. I said, I had a lot of departments as director of IT. And one of my departments was a help desk. So it was a lot of young, college students. We hired a lot of entry level for that. And I had to take a road trip to Reno, Nevada. This is in 99. And this is when everybody was worried about their systems. And so they got a big contract, I think with Hilton or something. We were working on hotel systems. And we were in Hilton in Reno. And next thing you know, got woken up 2 or 3 in the morning. A couple of my staff were in the pool nude. Then a couple of days later, a couple of them was harassing the cocktail waitress. And I was just feeling more like a babysitter than a director of IT. I called the president. I'm like, I figured out my bills. If you can come up to this, I can come down to this. And so he took it to the board and we met in the middle. And then when I came back from that trip, I packed everything up, just knew I was going to be walked out because I had access to everything. But because it was non-competing, they made me work my notice.
Wow.
So I'm still friends with that
as much as we
president. Can. Yeah. But it was good. It was good. And then I moved over to higher ed. And so I did that and worked my way up higher ed and moved here, still in higher ed in Jacksonville, and then worked my way up to interim campus president. I hired in as dean of technology and then worked my way up and decided I had a life change. I adopted my daughters. And so I decided I wanted to be home with them. And that was probably the impetus to starting my business.
How old are your daughters?
9 and 14. She'll be 15 on Friday. So I adopted them when they were 9 months and 6.
Oh, okay. So they're adopted children.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was about to say, I was like, somebody waited. Mm-hmm.
I know. I just had all my fun first, and now I have.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I met a lot in DC that were like that. They were in their 40s and thinking about, well, I want to start a family.
Yeah, now. Very good friend of mine. She was like 43, I think, when she had her first and only child. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way I looked at it is, like, man, I don't have the energy in 40s than I did in 20s. But no, and that's actually a common theme throughout. It's no longer having kids at an early age. Kids are expensive.
They're very expensive. And they're okay now. But if I had them when I was younger, two young people, I don't know. But now it's okay. And they're good. They have expensive taste. That's some of it's probably for me. I like plays.
I wonder who they got. Yeah.
They love plays. So plays are not
it, honestly. Right.
Yeah.
So, wow. So you've only had them for what, 5 years or so?
I've had them for 9 years.
9 years. I'm sorry. 9 years. My math is screwed up.
Yeah, 9 years.
But how did it change your life?
Well, I've been for many years. I was like, my friends would call me, because I lived in the Chicago area for a while, and I lived in some other places, Oklahoma and different places. And my friends would call me and say, hey, we're going to go see a play. Usually I would say, hey, I'll be there tomorrow. Get me a ticket, something like that. And then when I first adopted the girls, they would call and I said, I can't go. And so I'm very conscious of, where I go now, because especially when I take them, I have to make sure it is kid friendly, especially with my younger one. So it has changed. I do a lot more. I used to take the train everywhere. I'm a train person. I mean, coast to coast, both in Canada and here, I've gone. And I don't think I have the patience to sit on a train with them that long. But I do have the patience for a car because we can always get out.
Can we pull over? Yeah.
But we've taken a lot of road trips. We travel a lot. But a lot of times, like I said, it's more the kid-friendly places. I have to make sure that's something for them to do. And so that has changed a lot. And I noticed, though, that with them, I have become a person that I need a suite when I travel. When I stay in a hotel, I need a suite or a condo.
You like the creature comfort.
Well, no, we all need our space.
Yes.
Okay, that's the caveat. We all need our space.
Rooms.
Right, we need our space.
That
way it's truly a vacation.
Yeah. You travel a lot with your family?
Yes.
To working or pleasure?
Both. We always try to do some trip for spring break, and that's usually pleasure. This year, I can't remember where we went. We went somewhere. We always go somewhere for spring break. And then next spring break, we're going on a cruise because I had to book it during spring break so they wouldn't miss school. So we're going on a week cruise the whole spring break week.
Wow.
And I booked that. My whole family's going. So it's like, that should be interesting.
Well, you have your own.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. We are, and then every other Christmas we usually take a trip. We've gone to New Orleans for a week. We've gone to Memphis. That's more like family because I have a lot of family there. Um, we've gone up to Myrtle Beach. We've gone to this end of this month. We're going to Charleston. So we travel a lot. We've gone to Michigan. We've gone to Salt Lake City. We've gone a lot of places. Yeah. So.
Well, and what I found out through traveling and what I hear what you're saying is it's about the experience.
It is. It's the journey. The journey is the trip. That's what I always tell people because they say, well, don't you get, what do you do when you get there? And I said, well, we stop at everything. I love batting cages, which we don't have a lot here in Florida, at least not in Jacksonville. Batting cages. That's like my release. So when I was in Michigan, whenever, I needed to kind of work off some tension, I go to batting cages. I love baseball. So I do batting cages, but I couldn't find any here. And the closest one is, I think it's like past St. Augustine or something. So we don't have any like in this general vicinity.
Huh.
And our parks have them. So it's like,
where did that come from? Because wow, I mean, I've met you quite a few times. I never would think you would be going to the batting cage to release energy.
Yeah, it's fun. And I'm good at baseball. I like baseball. I'm good at baseball. I played baseball when I was younger. I'm good at that. And so it's a really good way to leave. It tones your arms, everything.
Well, it hones your mind too, because the eye-hand coordination and timing, and there's so many variables that are involved in it. And wow, I learned something new about you.
So when I travel, if we see those, we stop. The kids like go-karts. So if we see go-karts, we stop. And so we stop so much. And we like shopping. So sometimes we'll want to go shopping, and we all like museums. So we'll see interesting museums. Like some museum, if you go from Detroit to Chicago, it says flying monkeys. We haven't seen the flying monkeys, but of course we stopped because we wanted to see the flying monkeys.
Now, how do your kids handle that?
What, stopping?
The travel.
They like it. I mean, you have to think I'm at a point, and that's why I said being older with the kids is a lot easier. As soon as I start traveling with them, they both have DVDs. Okay. In the car. All right. So they don't need batteries or anything. They can watch whatever they want. They don't need Wi-Fi, because a lot of times we travel, certain areas may not have Wi-Fi while we're traveling. And so they both like to read, which is awesome. And they both draw. So we make sure they have their markers and all that stuff with them. And so as long as I get them out to stretch their legs periodically, they'll watch movies, sleep. And typical kids, they love each other and hate each other, right? And I can remember doing that with my brothers and sisters. So sometimes you get so, tired of being together, then you can't stand each other, right?
Yeah. I see. I understand. Now, are they biological siblings?
Yes, biological siblings.
Oh wow, that's rare. You can get to both of them.
Well, I fostered them. They're related, and so I fostered them first, and then adopted them. I had emergency fostered them. Yeah.
Amazing on how much you could love someone or people in general, and you get to see them grow and develop, and it's phenomenal when you get to see they have those eureka moments.
Yeah, it is. And so I'm very involved in the school, probably more than I want. But yeah.
You could actually homeschool.
Oh, we're not homeschooling. Let me just tell you, I was one of the people that voted for the teachers to get a raise during the pandemic. Okay. They should have had a raise, but I was really lobbying for them a raise during the pandemic because I had two of them at home. I had a kindergartner and my other one is a little older. So she's an honor student anyway. So she does her work, but my kindergartner, she has, this much attention span. And so I had to bring another desk into my home office. And even there, if I was on a conference call, she would be under the desk playing.
Hey, and that's kids. And you can't fault them because they're just being kids.
Yeah. So we created these elaborate optical courses in the backyard. And so about every 2 hours, we go run optical courses and things like that. They were really hilarious. But yeah, we did races on the I forgot what you call them. It's like the balls that have a little handle and you hop on them. So we created all these
Oh,
different courses.
like a pogo thing.
Yeah, but it's a ball that you
Yeah,
actually
it's a
put on.
ball.
Yeah. But we created so many crazy anything you can do outside. I probably bought during that period, so we have a big backyard, so we can create things, so we can have movement and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I was just thankful I didn't have grandkids at that time. All grown. But it is neat. I could feel the energy and love that you exude even this conference call. It's a wonderful thing to have family.
Yes, it
And
is.
did you ever think that it drives you to do what you do now?
I don't think it necessarily drives. Well, I think I probably started the business maybe because of that. I wanted to be there to take them to school. And because especially all the trauma they had went through, so I wanted to make sure I was there. And so it did. In a way, I guess it drives me in a sense to try to make sure I'm successful at it, because I don't want to go back where I'm away from them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like being able to go to their school events. I like taking them to school. So that part,
That's the journey.
yeah. And so that part I like, and I don't want to give it up. But even if I hadn't done this, I think I would have obviously done something either remote or something where I had a lot of flexibility in, because that was the key, is getting flexibility to make sure that I could do what I wanted.
So what I heard is you did everything you did all the hard stuff when you were young.
I did a lot of the stupid stuff when I was young. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of it wasn't as hard. It was stupid, but yeah.
Well, you learned from it, though.
I did learn. That's why I tell people, every action, there should be a lesson. As long as you're learning and not repeating the exact same thing, maybe try it with a different twist. But yeah, you should be learning each time.
Yeah. Hey, and I see that, and I get where you're going now. Where does your passion, where does that come from?
My passion, and it always has been, and I think I may get it from my parents. They were definitely way ahead of the book, servant leadership. They were definitely true servant leaders. And, my dad, obviously, to raise 13 kids, never been on welfare, nothing, was extraordinary. We had a, beautiful home, always had food, may not have been what you wanted, but we always had balanced meals and things like that. But they were always, I think most of my aunts and uncles have stayed with us at one point in time. It was just like our house was always open. So it was always room for more, and it was always food for more. And so I think just the love of people and wanting to help them, I think came from them, just seeing them. And that's always been my passion. Every role I've had, I've gotten awards, leadership awards, just because I don't wait for someone to tell me what to do. If I see something that needs to be done, or if I can help someone else, then I'm going to do it. And that's really what we founded. I founded this company on. It's really trying to work with, there's a lot of demands today in our business environment. And we really are trying to help organizations and individuals find solutions. And a lot of those solutions will help you increase productivity. And so we really want to improve performance, increase productivity, and we want to really inspire a continuous focus on excellence. Because we know even if we're doing excellent today, by tomorrow something will come along, and it may not be. We may not be on the edge of excellence anymore. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes things change. And so once you get to that point, it's that continuous improvement. And so we work with a lot of companies, individuals, and to help them. And that's a lot of times we'll get called in. They have the bones, but some components not quite working right. And we'll do an assessment and, make sure they agree. And sometimes they say, even though we think what you said is true, we really need to focus on this, maybe because it's a grant, or maybe because they're going to merge with another organization and they have to fix a certain part So
Yeah. So Bruce Thompson, hey, thank you for your Wendy's incredible. I'm lucky to know her and
thank
have
you,
her
Bruce.
in Florida. Hey, I agree with you because I realized my whole attitude changed after I met you. Because I like Jacksonville's a real hard market to get into because it's the deep south. And I had to work stuff like what I did in Iraq because man, nobody knew you there. When you really didn't want them to. But no, and when I met you, you were warm, welcoming, and you actually talked to me at a peer level rather than talking like I was somebody just off the street. But and you built that confidence and I see it when I see you interact with people at events through the Jack's Chamber and everything. What brings you to that to where you've had a very diverse background? You don't need to work as hard as you do, but you do.
I enjoy it. And that's what's, I always tell my clients when I'm working with business owners, you know what, if you truly are in your passion, which mine
Mhm.
is helping people, then it doesn't feel like work. And you're probably going to be broke for a while when you start a business. Some of my clients think they're going to make money really quick. that doesn't always happen. It does for some people, but that's not the norm. And
No.
so you're not going to be successful if you don't have the passion, because what's going to happen is you're going to work a month or two. If you don't bring in any money, you're going to either start another business or go back and get a regular 9 to 5. And so you really have to have the passion, be doing what you love. And I love what I'm doing.
Well, and you know what? It shows because one thing I noticed you're phenomenal at is networking. How explain to me what your thought processes are when you're out networking.
Well, I always tell people it's all lumped under networking, but it's really about building relationships, getting to know people. And I like finding out and meeting people. Even when I host my show and people, like I had a guest yesterday ask me, why did you invite me on? I said, because I never heard of your business. And I'm really curious. I wanted to be able to ask you questions about where did you get this business thought from? And how did you get started? And, and it really is about finding out a little bit about somebody. And sometimes just one fact, but you may find out you have a lot of connectivity. Like, I sit on the board of Cathedral Arts Project, or CAP, and we had our gala in April last month. And so I sat next to, I always try to sit with different people. And so I sat next to two women, and one of them we stayed in contact, and we're actually getting together. And so it's just like, I love meeting new people.
Outstanding, because that's why I do what I do now. And I look at it as we have an opportunity to have a recording of a great conversation, and everybody gets to meet you, who you really are. And that's what drives me. And I didn't know I would like it as much as I do, because
It's
I tell you
great,
what,
isn't it?
it is. And I was like, wow, I wish I got paid for it, but you know what? You have to get out there. You
Well,
have
you're
to.
getting paid for it in relationships. You're getting paid for it and I always tell people that because, my show, I don't get paid either.
Yes.
And people say, well, why do you do it? And I say, first of all, I love finding out about different resources and different organizations within Jacksonville. But also, I notice that the more people I know, when I get ready to do something, the more people I have to reach out to and to ask questions of, or to for support, or not even financial support, but like attend things for me, or sometimes I need committees for different things. And it also helps me with my clients, especially with my nonprofit clients, because some of them are looking for really good board members, and I'm meeting these people, and some of them want to be on boards, and it's just great to be able to bring the two together.
Yeah. And wow, that's all I can say. What I've noticed is Well, it's about investing in yourself, as Bruce just put. Philip, you're making the investment in yourself will pay off later. Keep putting
Thank you, Bruce, for encouraging him. I tell him the same thing. I said, you have to go and you have to, let people know who you are and show yourself friendly first, and the rest will come.
Yeah, and you know what? I've kept that mindset, and I'm so much better off now than I was 4 years ago when I was trying to get back into the job market, because I was retired and I had focused on myself. And what I see from you is you go off of content of character.
Yes.
And that's a phenomenal thing that, it was instilled in me where I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. It was all about, I knew a lot about Martin Luther King because I grew up in a predominantly minority area. And, that's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Then you know that when you help others, it comes back. So if you put yourself out of it, I mean, not just completely live on the street, but, but if you try to do for others, the outlet comes back. And I think, we were raised in a faith-based family. And so it was always about doing for others. And I said, I just kept that same mindset, even in business. If I do for others, and I've gotten some clients where I just gave them some advice, it was free advice, but when they're ready and can afford to work with someone, then they come back.
So basically you're diversifying your portfolio, your personal growth of portfolio. That's what I was looking at you as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I'm not putting it all in me, put it in all in others too. And then, I work with both for-profit, nonprofit, and individuals. And I like that. I like the mix up. I like, a lot of times when I first started my company, people will tell me, you always get the naysayers. Well, you should start your company this. They always want to tell you what kind of company to start. I'm like, are you investing in this company?
If you pay,
of course, that's not happening. But they always want to tell you how to run it. And they say, well, you can't do 3 verticals. You need to just focus on one. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm a certified coach. Obviously my PhD, I do training and development, and I do a lot of business consulting, and that can take place, where I'm working with someone and teaching them how to do things, or we can take it off their plate and we can do it for them. And so we run the gambit. It just depends on the client. And I love doing that. I love the diversity. I like that we're not doing the same old every day. And then for each client, we don't have this cookie cutter mentality. We understand that for every single client, we need to assess them separately, not based on anything else, because that way we can truly make sure that we're not over providing, or we're not up marketing, we're not charging them for something they really don't need. And by doing those assessments, we know exactly what they need. We lay it out and they agree to it, or say, well, I think I need to do this instead. But we make sure that we're trying to fit their needs. And it's not like we're taking, company A's needs and giving them to you, because that may not be you. And so I really like that where, we take each client individually and create their customized solution.
And you know what? That's a philosophy I follow as well, because every situation is different. There's no one, because there's too many variables.
Right. And from the outside, it may be, really simple to say, well, you should just tell them to do the same thing, but they may not be in the same situation. And so you got to be really conscious of that.
Yeah, because with my situation, it mirrors a lot of others. And I realize that it is the networking, like you said, because if you don't participate, how are they ever going to know you?
Right.
And all right, well, hey, we're getting close to our end time. And I want to get your lasting thoughts that you can give to the universe that would be able to develop them more to get out there and be the best person that they can.
Most people, unless you're asking something of them, will welcome an introduction. So go up to people, introduce yourself, And I said, and take the time to ask a few questions and get to know them, and not just go around, glad handing. Actually take
Yes.
a few minutes to get to know them. I'd rather have, one or two people talk to me and really have a great conversation than 100 people come up to me and shake my hand or something. I'd rather have the meaningful conversation.
Outstanding. So for you, the lasting words are, hey, get out there and make it happen
Yep.
and network, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I love the way you handle yourself and the love you show for your family and the passion for what you do. It makes you a phenomenal person to network with.
Well, thanks, Phil. Looking forward to our next lunch.
Well, you know what? I greatly respect you because, I've noticed that you give respect. And when you first walk up, you don't have any prejudgments or anything. You just go, hey, I'm Wendy. And that relaxed me. And it made me more curious to know more about you. And you know what? Today I learned some things. I never would guessed the baseball thing. That's a trivial thing there. But hey, I greatly appreciate you being here. You're an awesome person, both inside and out. I'm gracious enough to be a friend.
Well, I appreciate that, Phil. And of course, anytime you need me, just call me.
Oh, outstanding. And I look forward to interacting with you because what I plan on doing is getting panel discussions with people that I've had these conversations with.
Okay.
So that way everybody gets to know them first. And we have great conversations from there.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
And thanks everybody for watching. And I'll see you on the next conversation.